In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the reasons behind North Korea's nuclear weapons program and the challenges it presents to the international community. North Korea's nuclear weapons program has been a source of tension and conflict for many years. Despite international efforts to curtail it, the country continues to develop and test its nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. So why is North Korea so determined to keep its nuclear weapons? The first reason is that North Korea's leadership sees nuclear weapons as an essential means of deterrence against perceived threats from the outside world. The government is focused on maintaining its grip on power, and nuclear weapons are seen as a key tool to achieve this. The country's leadership sees its nuclear weapons program as an essential means of protecting itself from perceived threats from the United States and its allies. North Korea's leaders believe that without nuclear weapons, they would be vulnerable to outside interference and threats. The United States has played a significant role in shaping North Korea's nuclear weapons program. North Korea's perception of the United States as a threat is based on a long history of conflicts between the two countries, dating back to the Korean War in the 1950s. The United States has maintained a military presence in South Korea since the war, which North Korea sees as a direct threat to its national security. Secondly, North Korea's leadership sees its nuclear weapons program as a symbol of national pride and strength. Kim Jong-un has used the program to build a cult of personality around himself, presenting himself as a strong and capable leader who can protect North Korea against any threat. The regime has also used the nuclear program as a propaganda tool to rally support from its population, portraying the program as a symbol of national strength and defiance against the West. The nuclear program is also deeply ingrained in North Korea's political and economic system. The country's military and scientific establishments are heavily invested in the program, and dismantling it would mean giving up significant amounts of power and resources. The regime is also concerned that giving up nuclear weapons could make it more vulnerable to outside pressure and interference. Furthermore, North Korea's leadership is deeply skeptical of the international community's intentions. The country's leadership has often accused the United States and its allies of seeking to overthrow the regime and impose their own political system on North Korea. This perception of the outside world has reinforced the regime's commitment to maintaining its nuclear weapons program. The country sees itself as being surrounded by hostile powers, including South Korea, Japan, and the United States. In the absence of a formal security agreement, North Korea's leadership sees nuclear weapons as a way to maintain its strategic autonomy and deter potential attacks. Moreover, North Korea's nuclear weapons program is also closely tied to its economic ambitions. The country is pursuing a policy of Byungjin, which aims to simultaneously develop the country's economy and nuclear weapons program. North Korea's leadership believes that nuclear weapons are essential to maintaining its national security and economic development, and that giving up the program would mean sacrificing its economic ambitions. Finally, North Korea's ideology is based on the idea of juche, or self-reliance. The regime sees the nuclear weapons program as an essential component of its self-reliance strategy, as it allows the country to be less reliant on outside assistance or intervention. Giving up the nuclear weapons program would be seen as a significant ideological concession and could undermine the regime's legitimacy. Given all of these reasons, it's clear that North Korea's nuclear weapons program is deeply entrenched in the country's political, economic, and strategic calculus. Despite international pressure, North Korea's leadership has shown no signs of giving up its nuclear weapons program. The international community has responded to North Korea's nuclear weapons program with a mix of sanctions, diplomacy, and military deterrence. The United States has maintained a policy of maximum pressure, imposing sanctions on North Korea's economy and seeking to isolate the country diplomatically. In addition, the United States has deployed military assets to the region, including strategic bombers and aircraft carriers, as a show of force. Other countries, including China and Russia, have taken a more conciliatory approach, advocating for dialogue and diplomacy as a means of resolving the conflict. These countries have suggested that the United States and its allies should offer North Korea security guarantees and economic assistance in exchange for denuclearization. However, finding a lasting solution to the North Korean nuclear crisis will be a complex and challenging task. It will require the international community to address North Korea's legitimate security concerns while also working to dismantle its nuclear weapons program. Moreover, any solution will need to be sustained over the long term, as the North Korean regime is unlikely to give up its nuclear weapons program quickly or easily. In conclusion, North Korea's nuclear weapons program is a complex and multifaceted issue, driven by a range of factors including security concerns, national pride, economic ambitions, and ideological convictions. Finding a lasting solution will require the international community to work together to address these issues, while also acknowledging the significant challenges that lie ahead.